wonder what a bloke riding a motorbike's got to do with a World War II plane crash. Come inside and I'll tell you. There's a clue here. BMW were one of the most important businesses in the German war economy. Due to the massive demand for armaments, new sites were developed all over Germany, and forced labour and concentration camp victims were used. Some of these concentration camp victims had to endure harsh treatment and long days, and a lot of them didn't survive working at BMW. By the end of 1944, there was approximately 29,000 prisoners working for BMW. 2 of the engines that were produced went on to the Junkers Ju88, which crashed in Bromley. This picture shows concentration camp victims from Dachau inspecting aircraft engine components. This aircraft, on the 24th of April 1943, took off from Creil in France. This was an airfield that had been taken over by the Germans. Now, it took off with 6 other aircraft, and all the crews were briefed together, but the actual course to the target, which was to be a bombing mission in Birmingham, was left to the discretion of the individual pilots. This aircraft took off alone, and it crossed the French coast at Cherbourg, made landfall at Bournemouth, and then dropped 2 500-kilogram bombs on searchlight sites in the Midlands. It turned round to head back to Germany and was picked up by a Mosquito night fighter of 85 Squadron. It was fired at, and both its wings were set on fire. This aircraft had 4 crew. 2 of them bailed out at 6,500 feet. Of these 2 who bailed out, 1 of them was killed. The other 2 crew were thrown out of the aircraft at considerable height, and they were also killed. The main section of the aircraft came down in Bromley cricket ground, with the remaining parts of it nearby. We'll have a look at some photos that I've managed to come across of this. This is the junction of Widmore Road and Homefield Road in Bromley. You can see that there's a wooden structure with a roof on, like a porchway to the entrance of a building, and then there's a large building behind the 2 people stood guarding the wreckage. And this is the same spot today. You can see that the wooden structure is still there, but the building behind the chaps guarding the wreckage has now been replaced by what looks like a block of flats. There's a bush growing in the garden of the building with the wooden structure, and there's a tree behind the chap on the left. Amazingly, they're both still there. It really brings it home to you, doesn't it? All the crew of this aircraft had previously been fighting in Russia and had only just recently been brought back to the Western Front. Here policemen are examining the dinghy which would have been mandatory on crossing water. I'm a private pilot with a keen interest in World War II aviation history. If you'd like to see any more of these videos, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.